Za'Darius Smith is now a Detroit Lion. So, D-Mac?
Yes.
What we all knew was going to happened. The good folks at Spot Track gave you the breakdowns on it. And look, it passes all the tests for me. Here's the deal. I'll speak to you in real, regular people terms. The Lions get Za'Darius Smith. They basically traded a 5th-round pick in the next year's draft. It's a pick swap for a 6th and a 7th. But essentially, what's that going to be? 8-pick difference. Doesn't really matter. The moral of the story is they have Za'Darius Smith. They gave up a 5th-round pick, non-guaranteed salary of $11 million next year for Za'Darius Smith as well.
Which means they're on the hook.
They are not tied into anything financially with them. If it doesn't work, you can let them go. You can extend. You can re-sign them. Everything is out there for you. This reeks of a Brad Holmes move. This is where we are now. And from what I heard, the streets are saying the Browns were holding out for a 4th-round pick, and that's what the delay was. So Brad Holmes doesn't give you what you want how you want it. Brad Holmes gets what he wants how he wants it. That's the moral of the story.
So before we get to the on the field with the Za'Darius Smith, so the off the field moves, Neal, as far as the books and everything it goes, is what grade do you give Brad Holmes? Is this an A? Is this like how you do business when you're a Super Bowl loading team?
That's it.
That's exactly it. To everybody out there who, and we heard you, and lucky I don't have a pen or I would have been taking names, is the fact saying, well, he just does it in the draft. He doesn't do it in the trade. He can't get it done here. No, he's cooking on all cylinders for everybody right now, Detroit Lions. And I, like Spenny said, I don't want him to be done. I don't think he'll be done. And we were talking about this before the show, and it's probably not going to be, like it's not something that's going to shake the foundation, but it's going to be somebody along the lines of a Jalen Reeves-Maybin or somebody that can make a play in a certain spot that you're going to say, oh, thank God we have this guy. So the biggest things for me, one, fits the room, fits the culture, obviously passes that test to whatever want to be here. The other two things is not only the veteran guy who, if you look at the way he's playing this year, is coming into his game, for whatever else you miss pressures with Aiden Hutchinson, he adds this. But I like this also, right? The fact that he's played for teams in this North Division in Green Bay and in Minnesota, so he understands what's at stake here and stuff like that. And not very many times, Neal, do you get to say there was a trade from Cleveland to Detroit in the past that somebody would be excited, except for now. So he's got to be ecstatic. And I think that, one thing I'm going to listen to say, you've heard Braylon's story about when he got traded to the Jets. He didn't take anything. He left. He wanted to get out there as quick as possible. I don't know if it's the same way, but definitely if whoever won Za'Darius Smith, he absolutely won the lottery today by becoming a Detroit Lion, and he's gonna be an effective player on this defense for Aaron Glenn.
No, that's it. That's all. That you said it perfectly, D-Mac. 21 sacks in his last 40 games, spanning back to 2022. So that's out there. A couple of forced fumbles in that time. Also, Duke can play. He's a pro.
Isn't he also too a guy who's on that the offense has to know where he is and what number
you got to be aware of him.
Right, you have to be aware. So I just think that he adds to it, and hopefully from what we've seen with this defense. And I also I mentioned something, and I did a little clip, but I mentioned what I'll tell you what it's like when you're an injured player. And I know Hutch is out for the season. You can't fast track bones. But when you are doing your rehab and trying to get back, you're going to work a little bit harder, especially when you see all the pieces that are in place. And maybe this, helps with the mental side of Hutchinson's recovery, because there's going to be some dark days when there's a lot of time. But he can also see that, this team is just, going to be waiting for him and ready, and not hopefully lose any ground until he comes back.
DNC ENT. No diss to Za'Darius Smith, but I need another one. I need Za'Darius and I knew, okay, somebody explain this to me, all right? When I logged on to the Woodward Sports YouTube page, you know how you get that little AI-driven chat summary? It said on the AI chat summary just now, it said, Lions fans seem happy about the Detroit Lions trade. However, some are concerned about their recent performance.
Hey, I don't know what it's talking about.
Okay. That's why AI's not there yet. All right, everybody?
AI.
That's why it's not there yet. I thought that was pretty interesting. No, but all right. So Spenny, since you seem to be of this political party here on Election Day, you are the DNC ENT crowd.
Yes.
You need and.
I don't need and. I would very much like and. I would very much support and. I'd very much see and coming, and I think part of that and is you look at it right here, that Spotrac tweet. Look at that salary guaranteed for Za'Darius Smith this year. Under $1 million.
I know. I noticed that.
$605,000 guaranteed for Za'Darius Smith this year. A lot of cap still available. A lot of picks in next year's draft still at Brad Holmes' disposal. I would be very surprised if he didn't make another trade at some point today.
Yes, and also too, you know why that is? This is why you wait.
Yes.
And this is something I talked about, D-Mac.
And that's what winning
does
afforded them.
Yeah, absolutely.
That he could wait a little bit longer and
just
hold
wait
on
and
to
let
his
somebody
price.
else pay him.
Yeah.
Like it is. It's all very, very simple, man.
It's just trying to read the tea leaves a little bit and listening to Dan Campbell. I'm sure they got a few guys that they might poach off other practice squads, but they're waiting till the last moment. I'm sure he's got other offers out there to other teams that he's just like, hey, hit me back before the deadline. You want to make the deal? Here's my final offer. And they're, planning sort of ahead. So maybe we will hear something of breaking news. I don't think it'll be anything huge, but I think it'll be huge for this team.
Right. So as it stands right now, the Detroit Lions for next year's draft, they have their own first-round pick. They have their own second-round pick. The third-round pick was traded to the Jets for Giovanni Manu, so they don't have a third-rounder. They have their own fourth-rounder. They do not have any more that fifth-rounder from the Eagles as part of the DeAndre Swift trade. They traded that back to the Eagles for Vaki. They do not have their fifth-round pick. They do not have their sixth-round pick. They traded that to the Browns for Donovan Peoples-Jones. They do have a sixth-round pick from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as part of the Carlton Davis trade. They have their own seventh-round pick, and they have the Dallas Cowboys seventh-round pick as part of the trade up for Terry and Arnold. So simplified, they have the first, a second, a fourth, a seventh, and another seventh. That's what they have. But there's a cost to do business. What's that?
And a six.
The six, from the Buccaneers.
Yeah.
Correct. So that is where they stand right now. So no grave damage, but it costs you something to get something, man. You don't get stuff for free.
The only thing that, and not a conversation for now because obviously it's performance based, but isn't that, Neal, isn't it bigger than not the fact that next year's not guaranteed, and even if it is, the number's $16 million, but it says that if they wanted to pay, they don't have to pay 11. So that means he's getting these guys at a discount, right? Making the team pay. So am I reading this right, that it was the rest of the salary except for that for this year for the fifth and sixth? So he even buffered it even better. Right? Because we always talk about there's two different, the real money and then the salary cap or however you break it down. So to me, it just tells me that Brad Holmes, if anything, probably made out in this, this was a positive deal.
No doubt. And you get a pro, like a very, very good player in this league.
Like
you
a guy that's established, a guy that everybody else knows that and that has played. And I love the fact that he's played in the North. Like he's been Minnesota in Packers. There's something about him, coming back, playing your own teams too. Question from Steve DeYoung for you, Neal. With Ray and Dakota Prescott going into the IR, does this Holmes kick the tires out of Micah Parsons? Is Micah Parsons in conversation?
I couldn't imagine that he would be.
I do not want that cancer in this locker room.
Get
him out of here.
Stick, that's a good point. Does Micah Parsons pass the Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell locker room test?
We passed on him once.
Yep.
Yeah, there's no way they trade him.
And since then, you see what he does to his teammates, like on podcasts, his brothers tweeting shit about the team. Like, this team doesn't need that. You don't want that. The talent's there. But D-Mac, sometimes talent isn't the only consideration in these. You got to know if they can gel with the rest of the team.
That's it.
Facts.
Yeah. Down the road, that could be something where you've given Dak Prescott his truckload of money, CeeDee Lamb. At some point, when does a well run dry? And Stick, look, he's a great player.
Yeah.
Would I take him? Obviously, I would take him.
You want the talent.
But I'm just there's overtones.
No,
of
here's
that.
the whole thing you don't have to worry about. Because the gatekeepers are Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell, and whether he lets them in or not, if they made the trade and let him in, then you accept that to the fact that it had to be, they passed that. I think that brings up the best question is I don't think he's a fit to this team.
That's it.
No matter what the talent is.
Isn't that crazy that we're here?
No?
Lions fans.
We're here, baby. Like we
It's
could
wild.
turn down a player like Micah Parsons because it's not a culture fit.
When's Sheila
Think about
get a
that.
statue?
What?
Huh?
Well, I was thinking about that. You remember, D-Mac, how I wanted the Brad Holmes on top of the Rensen, like that thing in Brazil, right?
RIP the Rensen.
Yeah, where he's but they're tearing down the Rensen,
Put
right?
on Kobo. Just down the street.
Maybe we could do like a manger with Sheila and Brad and Dan Campbell.
Lions
Oh, you want
fans.
the nativity scene?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But like a football
Put everybody
version.
around football. Somebody get on that. I know somebody's creative enough. Give me the football nativity Detroit Lions scene. How would it look?
No, absolutely. So, yeah, but it is trade deadline day. We will keep things monitored always. We have eyes on it with what's going on. You guys are the ultimate watchdogs, too, in the chat as well. This is where you guys come into play. Be our Adam Chef.
Can I
I prefer
ask,
the baby Jared Goff.
like, around the room, you think we're done?
Yes.
No. Nope.
I do.
So 3-1. You think we're done?
I think so. Like,
So you're telling me there's a chance?
no, obviously there's a chance.
Is it Samson?
No, but here's the deal, D-Mac. Like, the Za'Darius Smith thing, how Cleveland wanted a 4th-round pick for, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wonder about the market.
Okay, so you're saying that the market that
It's running a little
There's
hot.
conversation, but you think there's conversations out here a little high for Brad Holmes' liking?
Correct.
But he adjusted the market, Neal.
He did. And
So did the
11
market get adjusted then for his next move?
11:30 a.m. prices are not 4 p.m. prices either.
That's what
That is
I'm
true.
saying.
So, you know.
He's in it, but is this not? We're in a luxury position right now, regardless, right? If there's not a move being made, you can't be upset if there's not another because I think he's out there trying. I don't think he's done trying, but I think to your point, he's weighing, leveraging. You know, like you said, he got a 1st, 2nd, 4th, 2 7ths.
Okay, you know what? There it is.
Uh-oh. They done did it.
There it is, Stick.
Done did it.
There it is.
That's terrible.
MIB reviews. If we are done, we blew our true Super Bowl window last year and this year.
That's
MIB
terrible.
reviews based on what?
That is-
What evidence do you have to
that's
say
erroneous.
that? Based on the fact they're 7-1 and killing everybody? For real. What evidence do you
Tell
have
me
to
you don't
say
watch
that?
the game without telling me you don't watch the game. Tell me you just look at stats, not watch the game, dude. In the last couple weeks, out of sorts against Tampa, gave it away. But I mean, these last couple games of dominance. Did you ever feel that you were going to lose, even in the Minnesota game? Right, it's a different team, and adding this other piece.
MIB reviews. No pass rush. You just went and got Za'Darius Smith. You just went and got him.
Don't you have to wait till next week to say that because you've made an addition to your pass rush?
Or don't you have to wait till they lose a game? Or don't win a game by double figures on the road? That's the dumbest take. That's the dumbest take I've heard. And I knew it was coming. Stick, you knew right away. When my shoulders slumped down, you knew exactly what I read.
Yeah.
I'm not dealing with this today, guys. I'm not. Then get out. If you're not on board, then get out. If you're gonna sit here and talk crazy stupid like that, then get out. If that's the only move we make, we've blown our Super Bowl window. What are you talking about? Where do you get this from? Grow up, everybody. There's a Super Bowl change. They went and made a trade. They got a premier player in the game. Everybody on board. Let's go. Sorry.
It's okay.
This guy stinks!
I knew it. I knew this was coming, though. I knew it was.
Yeah.
And you knew it was too, Spenny.
Yeah, there's Cousins out there, and you can't do much to stop them. This is a great move for the Detroit Lions. And like I said, I'm sure they're going to make another one. But even if they don't, their Super Bowl window isn't closed. They haven't even begun to peak.
And by the way, no one's talked about this. Aiden Hutchinson's out for what? Maybe 14 more games. Mm-hmm. Then he's back. And next year you have Za'Darius Smith and Aiden Hutchinson on your edges.
Oh, say like.
What are we talking about here? The window's closed. Think!
Ryan's reactions in the Woodward Sports chat says, we're undefeated without a pass rush. Goff style is conductive to another 10-year window.
Conducive.
Neal,
I was going to say something, and I don't want this to come off the wrong way.
I do. Because shit like that, I don't have time for today. I'm a busy guy.
The Za'Darius Smith trade, I'm glad they made a move. The confidence I've gained in this team by them adding Za'Darius Smith, I got to admit, is pretty minimal because I already had very high confidence in what they were doing anyway. So I'm glad they added him. They did need a pass rusher. But even if they didn't make this move, I was okay. And the proof has been in the past 3.5 games. So, I don't want this to come off as I didn't want Za'Darius Smith. I did want something. But at the same time, I was 98% sure before. Now I'm 99%, right? So Za'Darius Smith just added an extra 1% of confidence to me.
Woodward Sports chat thread, cat spot. Smith is not remotely close to a premier player. He's got almost 80 sacks in the NFL. Is that good?
It's what does he add to what we already have? The emergence of Jack Campbell, the way the linebackers are playing, DJ Reader, Lee McNeil up front, whoever you're trying to fit in, Nowatzki or O'Connor or whatever, it's by committee. He is an asset to what they're trying to do. He's not a guy, we're not expecting him to go out there and be Aiden Hutchinson, but he's got to make what they have already better. Is that not what we understand is happening here?
And D-Mac, you know better than anyone about this statement that I'm about to make. Take Za'Darius Smith and drop him on this team in this space right now. Is he better, D-Mac? Is he even better than he was in Cleveland? Educate me about this.
With Aaron Glenn in that secondary and the defense that is emerging.
Why does no one think about that?
I don't think he'll be better than he was in Cleveland. He had Myles Garrett on the other side of him in Cleveland.
Right, but this team.
The team is better, yes.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He elevates this team.
Oh, for sure.
And that's what I'm driving
He
at.
makes the team better. But this was never about him individually coming in. And if Mason Crosby, yes, came in here, you'd expect him to game wreck. No, you expect Za'Darius Smith to be a part. Do you guys not remember him in Minnesota or remember him in Green Bay where you had to put a man on him or else, a couple times he'd be in the backfield?